Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Ian's Adventures with me, Ian Lawrence, here in the great outdoors. So why are we here today in the rain, in the wood, with a little fire? Well, first of all, I've come to have a cup of coffee. And secondly, we're going to talk about Weils disease, which is a disease passed on by rats, cows, pigs and mice and such like, and it's passed on through urine. And we're also going to talk about Lyme's disease, L-Y-M-E-S disease, which seems to have captured people's attention at the moment with the ticks. Alright, so I'm going to go through, in fact, I've actually brought it on paper so we don't miss anything out, because both of them are very much alike when it comes down to symptoms. So I want to make sure that people are aware of what the two are and the slight differences in the symptoms of Lyme's disease and Weils disease. Alright, so while being a kayak instructor, actually a senior kayak instructor, water sports instructor, I came across Weils disease because it's a disease passed, in our case mainly, we came across it passed by rats on the riverbank or the stream beds and such like, on the ponds. And what happens is when you have a flood, it brings all the disease onto the banks, and then when the water drops again, it leaves it in small pools. And when we're going in and out of kayaks and canoes, we'd end up putting either his hands in it, his elbows in these puddles. And there's always a possibility of coming down with Weils disease. So that's the one I want to hit first. Okay? It's called, I always have a problem with these big words. Leptospirosis is the technical name for Weils disease. Now it's a W, but it's pronounced V to my knowledge. So it's Weils disease. An infected water containing urine from rats, mice, cows, pigs and dogs. Alright, so a lot of people think it's just rats. It's not, it's also mice and some cattle, because they will be drinking from the pools and streams and things like that, and they might take it on board and it's then held in their bloodstream. Entering by the mouth, eyes and cuts, also spread via animal blood directly from meat. So it's not only passed by putting your hands in it, because it's like if you put your hands in it, or if you get in your mouth or you get in your eyes or somewhere, it's got an opportunity to get inside your body. But also if you get meat from an animal infected and the blood's still in the meat, if you eat your meat rare, there's a chance there, or a good chance if the meat is infected, that you're going to get it as well, because it's a passage of liquids, fluids from the blood into your system. Okay, I know about this one. It feels like flu symptoms, and so we basically get headaches, muscle aches, eye pain, chills, fever, watery eyes and belly pain. Which, other than the belly pain, you'd think you were coming down with a viral infection, you were coming down with flu or something like that. So that's something we were always told to look out for. And if we came down with a viral infection and we had to go to the doctor, we had to tell them that we're water sports instructors, and there's a good chance that we've been around water, so there's a good chance it could be Weils disease. And again, as it says on riverbanks and water sources. You can get rid of it by taking strong antibiotics. And you can avoid it when you're out and about by making sure you filter and boil your water, ironically. So I'm going to be doing a video soon about how to filter water naturally in the environment. I'm going to be using a birch bark container with the required filter system in order to be able to clear water down to a point where it's ready for boiling. Alright, so that's Weils disease. Now we're going to move on now to Lyme's disease. That's L-Y-M-E-S disease, or Borrelia bacteria. Alright, in this country there are a lot of ticks, and we pick the ticks up from the grass and such like, and on bits of old stick and branches and things. Ticks can't jump and they can't fly, so the only way you're going to get them on you really if they could come up to you, or if you laid on the ground. Now what I do, people will notice I always wear gaiters, and I have my trousers inside my gaiters and the gaiters cover my boots. And some people might say maybe I don't need them on occasion, but there's always a chance you're going to get insects and ticks and maybe biting spiders and stuff like that, so it just avoids it. So that's a good idea and a good thing to do. Also, if you don't want to get them on your arms and such like, wear a long sleeve shirt. There's also medications out there that you can spray on. You go online, they last for around about 6 hours. So that's another option for people. They are in grasses and edges. Avoidance wear, long clothing, we've just done that one. I write these things down. I've got a knowledge of this, but I write it down to make sure I don't miss anything. Does that make sense? Okay, when you're removing the ticks, make sure you use really thin tweezers or those little tick removal things that you can buy online or from shops. And that's because if you squash the body or do something like that, it will actually empty the ticks inside into your arm, which sounds gross, which will then pass all the infection into yourself, and you don't want to do that. So try and get some really fine tweezers and pull it out from the head and pull it out entirely. Now if there's any of the head left inside there, once you've done, try and get it out, but if you can't, don't worry, because your body will sort of reject it anyway. Symptoms again, here we go. Small red circles surrounded by a ring, so you've got like a red, as if something's bitten you, but then on the outside of it there's a circle. Now it can take about 8 days for that to show up, I believe. You can come down with joint pain, so if you start coming down, if you've been out in the woods and you start coming down with any of these symptoms, look all over yourself to see if you can find any ticks. Now the ones which are the worst are the really little tiny nymph ones, so you go from the egg to the nymph, and they're ridiculously tiny, so finding them is really, really difficult, and they don't hitch or bite or sting or anything, so you might not know they're there. So you need to look out for things like joint pain, headache, night sweats, lethargy or tiredness, blurred vision, just described me in the morning, heart issues like slight variations in heart rhythm, restricted range of movement. This can be down to vitamin A overdose, but also down to this obvious as well, and shortness of breath. So if you get any of them, you need to start looking around your body and get yourself to the doctors and explain to the doctor where you've been, what you've been doing, and what the situation is, so they can sort of get you sorted out with strong antibiotics. Now it takes up to 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours, once the tick gets onto you, for it to pass enough of the Lyme disease into your body for your immune system not to be able to fight it off. So basically, if you can find one, don't panic. If long as you can get it off pretty quick, because you'll be able to, because that means that it ain't got enough in there to be able to cause a major issue. So anything up to 12-24 hours, you're all right. But if you start coming down with those symptoms after that, obviously get to the doctors and explain that you found the tick. The worst place for them apparently is on the top of your head, and in your groin and underneath your arms, because people get it because it's the rich blood supply. Normally passed on by ticks, the nymph stage, by adults can also. So if people got this image of this big tick sticking itself in with its legs sticking out at the back, it don't always look like that. All right, but the adult ticks can still pass it on. There it goes, 24 hours to pass. Ticks feed for 3 to 7 days, so they will stay. They grow quite significantly in the time that they're actually on your body. So between 3 to 7 days they will actually feed on you, which sounds a bit gross and disgusting, which it is. But then again, then you could get them off. But after 7 days, apparently they'll detach and go off and do what they're doing. So you need to get to doctors and get some antibiotics. Well, that's all I've got down on here. I'm lucky that I've never actually come down with any ticks, not that I know of. I've never felt that lethargy feeling. I've never had any problem with joint movement. None of them symptoms. Now, apparently not all those symptoms apply to everybody. So if you come down with a series of those symptoms, be aware of it. Now, the one thing to me which stands out between the two, because both of them look like you're coming down with some kind of viral infection, is the eyes. When you've got Weils disease, your eyes go red, but when you've got Lyme's disease, you become really sensitive to light. You basically become Dracula. You become really sensitive to light, and it hurts your eyes to look at light. Why that is, I don't know. But, well, anyway, I hope this has been of use to somebody. I'm going to enjoy my coffee, which is steaming away lovely there, it's just about boiled. And then I'm going to go and collect some bits, because I've got another video coming up soon, so I need to go and get myself, hopefully, some birch bark, which I can make a cone with. Because what I would do is I would get the birch bark, in order to sterilise it, I'll put it over the fire and burn the surface of the inside of the bark, scrape it all out so there's nothing there, then make a cone, and then I'll fill it full of the filtration aggregate, the stuff inside, the sand and the gravel and such like, in order to be able to make a water filter. And that's what I'm going to be doing hopefully on the next video. But we're in for some bad weather at the moment for at least a week. It's going to be raining according to the weather forecast. Blessed to live in England, it's going to rain for about a week. But once I get out, I'll be doing that video. But I'm also going to be doing a video about the various kinds of shelters that I've got, lining them up once next to the other and looking at the differences between one and the other, pros and cons. So I hope that's been of some use to you, sorry, and I'll put some pictures down on the end of what both of them look like once people contract them. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been of use to you. It's been lovely to speak to you again. Bye for now from me Ian, with Ian's Adventures here in the great outdoors. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and very warm welcome to Ian's Adventures with me, Ian Lawrence, here in the great outdoors. A wonderful place to be, and I get out here as much as I can. But what's the channel all about? It's about bushcraft and it's about wild camping. So we either use bushcraft shelters, bashy shelters, or we use tents. Do we use maps? Yeah, of course we do. When we go up onto hills, we use maps, we use compass, and we also look at how to use a route card. What's a route card? A route card is basically an explanation of your entire route with all the different points of reference along the way and loads of information in there. And we'll look at that on the channel. But we also look at how to build a bushcraft shelter, how to create a fire reflector, how to create fire, how to use a ferro rod and stuff like that. And my constant challenge to be able to use a bow drill. We all need a challenge. And we also make bowls and spoons and all sorts of stuff. So a very, very big welcome to everybody to Ian's Adventures with me, Ian Lawrence, here in the great outdoors. Welcome to everybody.